Very excited to watch this video. Very excited. Very, very hype. This looked like a really, really good video. I saw a lot of great comments about this on Twitter, and on YouTube. So let's go. Cultural nihilism and the rise of the grifter.
I have 30 seconds for my attention span to escape the grips of a Mr. Beast video. When the timer reaches 0, this 2013 Volkswagen Jetta will pull me.
My favorite thing to say is "hell yeah, brother."
Yeah.
across the pavement at top speed.
In 3 years' time, I'm going to be exposed for diabolical behavior as a Discord mod.
Haven't I seen this rope trick before? More importantly, will anybody care if they've seen it before? Jump cuts are starting to make me feel nauseous. I'm almost too sick to find the close tab button. Why do I care about this? Am I doomed to exist in an endless cycle of trivial curiosity and relief with nothing to take away at the end? Am I anything more than a hostage to my dopamine receptors? In a leaked internal document, Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast.
God, dude, Jimmy. Teddy goes, thank you for the tier 1, or sorry, gift, the tier 1 gift sub. Bicycle, thank you for the prime. Alarie, Mobius, Major Snake, Pasta Monster, Teamer Cat, Voodoo, Opulent Cat, Oho Slocos, Eat More Truth, Armed, Postcard, Mario, Pole Star, thank you guys so much for the subbies. Fadzilla, I'm so sorry I missed this. Thank you for the 5 gifties. Thank you. Omega Star, thank you for the 5 gifties as well. I don't know how I'm missing all of these. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Explains his vision and goals for the channel in a 36-page manifesto. Your goal here is to make the best YouTube videos possible. That's the #1 goal of this production company. It's not to make the best produced videos, it's not to make the funniest videos, not to make the best looking videos, not to make the highest quality videos. It is to make the best YouTube videos possible. Everything we want will come if we strive for that. This bears striking resemblance to a 2015 Atlantic article warning about the commercialization of art. Now it's an audience you think of addressing. It's a customer base. Now you're only as good as your last quarter sales. It's hard to believe that the new arrangement will not
And the death of art.
favor work that's safer, more familiar, formulaic, user-friendly, eager to please. More like entertainment, less like art. Artists will inevitably spend a lot more time looking over their shoulder, trying to figure out what the customer wants rather than what they themselves are seeking.
Why was Hassan banned? For anyone asking recently, he was he read the manifesto on stream, the manifesto from the Israeli embassy shooter.
Say,
I feel the retention. Just give us.
99% of movies and TV shows would flop on YouTube. On top of that, they'd be wildly unprofitable,
thanks for the 5.
having no flexibility and long lead times that can't adapt to trends. We aren't here to make a small movie once or twice a year. I want to make one every week. LOL. Mr. Beast makes high-production, long-form Super Bowl commercials on a weekly basis. The scale of the production that's grown to be his trademark is impossible without corporate sponsorships. The millions he's paid from views on YouTube is often just enough to cover the cost of making the video, with a large percentage of revenue coming from corporate sponsors like T-Mobile or his own business ventures like Feastables chocolate bars. This gets into a moral gray area when you remember that half of his 350 million person audience are children. One of the newest products he started to advertise are the Beast Labs collectible action figures. A toy with loot box style gambling that requires you to keep buying packs until you finally get the legendary Who Gives a Shit.
I can't wait to learn numbers, counting.
Hey, yo, Miss Rachel, what are you doing? No.
Colors and shapes with you today.
For all children's television programming, there's something required by the FCC called a bumper. This is to signal to children that the show they're watching has officially paused and advertised.
Joel, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. And also thank you for the 12 months. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sil, thank you so much for the 2 months also.
Have commenced. It was deemed unethical to have a child's friend, SpongeBob, tell them that the only way they could make friends this fall is if they purchased the new Prime Energy drink.
I want a 4,000 Gucci sweater. I want a house, an iPhone 15. I want Mr. Beast in my basement. I want a
I want Mr. Beast in my basement. Auntie Piker talking about Hassan. I want Hassan in my basement. Ethan Klein talking about Hassan. I want Hassan in my basement.
Lion.
Sirs, thank you for the 5 gifts of Afro. Thank you for the 5.
I want K-Side and Logan Paul in my basement. I
Oh
want
my
this lady in my basement.
The invention of the Gutenberg printing press led to the Protestant Reformation. The ability to mass-produce copies of the Bible gave people a more direct relationship with God. With the advent of the social media influencer, people now have a more direct relationship with advertisers, forming parasocial relationships with the people that try to sell them products. There needs to be a clear demarcation between advertisement and entertainment. What happens when there is no differentiation? The advertisement is the content, and the content can only exist as an advertisement. All of the consumer protections created by the FCC to regulate broadcast television still only apply to broadcast television. Is this relationship still a concern to our government, or is it the desired outcome for the next generation to be conditioned as more active consumers? Mr. Beast's biggest video was his recreation of the contest from the Netflix original series, Squid Games, an anti-capitalist satire set in South Korea where financially desperate contestants compete in life-or-death games for a life-changing sum of money. It explores how the ruling elite debase and humiliate us for their own entertainment, forcing the working class to strip themselves of their humanity and abuse each other just to keep their heads above water. Mr. Beast saw this and went, whoa, why don't I do that?
He saw it and said, base. It's not funny at all. I'm so sorry.
Squid Games is not a warning for the future. It's a critique of the present.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't. Don't be mad about capitalism for 5 minutes challenge. Impossible. It's fucked up because I see all the drop shippers and I see all the Temuification of Etsy, and I see like all of the scammers, and I see all that shit, and I'm like, these are people who feel that the system, the American capitalist system, has failed them. It has failed them completely. They have seen the horror stories from friends, from family members who did everything right, and they still got indicted. No, they did everything right. They worked at their 9-to-5 job. They got a degree. They worked their 9-to-5 job their whole life. They had 2 kids. They got their house, and then they got an extreme medical debt because someone got cancer, and they lost everything. Like, and this is just way too common of a story. There's so many people who have lived through the story or have known someone who's lived through the story where you do everything that the system tells you to do. You go to school, you save, you don't buy coffee because, you understand that. I have to pull up that one part. I have to find it. Teachers shouldn't buy coffee, delaying retirement. Mm. Where is it? There was this really maybe they took it down. There was this really, really bad fucking article that came out like a few years back where they basically told teachers, hey, just so you guys know, all the teachers, you guys who are buying coffee every morning, just know it could be delaying your retirement by 5 years, and you should just not buy coffee every morning. You consider saving that money. Also, never go outside on weekends. Never hang out with people ever. Never do anything ever that costs any money. Don't go on vacation ever because then you might not be able to retire. And, and you might just get sick anyways, and all of your money gets spent on treatment for medical bills. Or sorry, for treatment, and then it gets spent on medical bills for that treatment. Spend your entire life scrimping, saving. Never treat yourself, never go out with friends on the weekend, never go on vacation, and maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe. Or maybe you won't, who knows? So a lot of people, like, they feel like the system has totally failed them, and they feel like there are no social safety nets that will protect them. And so the only way to protect yourself is to become a millionaire, so you have more than enough money to take care of yourself, your friends, your family members, for as long as at least you're alive. That's the only, like, literally, I don't know how to say this in any other. And then now with the AIification of everything, where the job market's even more fucked, and like, chat, I'm not joking, we're about to head into some very scary territory if no regulation, no legislation is put in place. Because to be clear, chat, I don't think most people dream of labor. But if you as a corporation, let's just visualize it for a moment. Every single company now uses AI for 99% of their labor. Shouldn't that make the country very wealthy? Shouldn't these people who only got to the position they got to because of human labor be forced to pay back into the system to enrich the lives of the citizens who live there? We should be living in like Star Trek space communism. I'm a translator, already lost my job to AI. Woohoo! Yes! I don't mean to fearmonger, chat, and you know that's like one of the few things I try really hard to not to not do on this broadcast, fearmonger. But like, I saw this and I knew that it was coming. I didn't realize how fast it was going to be here.
In shocking news, J.K. Rowling's yacht sank with her on board after being attacked by orcas off the coast of Turkey.
This is AI.
I'm Preganti. Denim Dankies.
Wait, let me double check. At Grok, is this AI? I wish that J.K. Rowling story was real. Yeah, me too, chatter. You gave me a joy heart attack. Don't do that. Yeah, sorry, to get to the point of what I was trying to get to in the first place. If we continue on this road, the US is fucked. The US is actually totally boned. I mean, we're already boned. I saw like a piece recently saying that 60% of Americans can't afford basic living standards in the United States. I have it here. I saved it. I actually made sure to save this. Yes. The bottom 60%, this person rightfully says, it means the majority. The majority of U.S. households don't make enough money to afford a minimal quality of life, according to a new analysis from CBS. Is it this piece?
All right, now this is an eye-opener. Most Americans are not making enough money to afford the basic costs of living. A new report found a, quote, minimal quality of life is out of reach for the bottom 60% of American households. Now, this analysis considers whether people can afford food and shelter, and it also looks at the affordability of technology tools for work and education, as well as health and childcare. For more on the economy, we're joined now by Claire Jones. She's a U.S. economics editor for the Financial Times. Claire, good morning to you. This is pretty sobering stuff. In addition to the point I just made, yesterday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell spoke in Washington saying the Fed is prepping for a new economic environment with higher inflation risks and therefore interest rates may stay elevated. So what does this entire picture really mean?
I really like it that you picked up on Jerome Powell's remarks yesterday, because I think what they tell us is how much the world has changed. The Fed chose making these remarks at what the Fed calls its 5-year review conference, where it looks at its framework. The last time the Fed did one of these reviews, we were in a world where there was too little inflation. We're now in a world where Powell is acknowledging there may well be too much. And we've seen the impact the recent bouts of inflation have had on the cost of living for the average American. And what it's also going to mean is likely higher interest rates going forward. We're not going to see interest rates fall to the sort of levels that they were at after the 2008 financial crisis, or the sorts of levels that they were at during the early stages of the pandemic.
So these could be the early signs of a weakening economy, and no one wants to be in the position of a recession. Is there any mechanism or way to avoid that?
Well, I think we're certainly in a better place than we were this time last week. We saw the talks between Scott Bessent and the Chinese vice minister in Geneva, and they really had a significant impact on reducing the recession risk by cutting the tariff on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. That'll help a lot, but we still are likely to see higher prices in the months ahead and low growth in the months ahead. And the big reason for that is the tariffs and the trade policies of Donald Trump.
And one of the largest companies saying they're impacted by that is Walmart. They expect to see price hikes later this month tied to tariffs. What might that mean for the budgets of everyday Americans who are already struggling to pay?
Oh, man. This is peak manufactured consent, by the way. To pretend like all of this, like the diminishing quality of life and the diminishing returns that Americans get for their work, is because of the tariffs, and it's not because of a very consistent effort by politicians to make sure that millionaires keep getting richer, billionaires keep getting richer, and the poorest people in our country keep getting fucked over, is insane to me. Like, it's crazy to me. But anyways, not to get too sidetracked from the original video that we were watching. I genuinely believe, and maybe this is naive of me to believe this, that the reason so many people have turned to drop shipping scams, the reason that Andrew Tateism really had a rise in the way that it did at the time that it did, and there's a lot of factors at play here. Lack of community, lack of walkable cities. These things all exacerbate the problem as well. I genuinely think that these type of scams that exist today only exist the way that they do because people don't see a way to succeed in our current system. That you no longer have financial stability if you do everything right. If you get a job, you're financially responsible, you build up your 401k, or you build up some other type of savings account, some high yield savings account, or whatever you do with your finances. It's not a financial advice stream. And you can do all of that, and you can still get boned. You can scrimp and save your whole life, and you can still get boned. You can do all of the things that the system tells you to do, and you can still get boned. And so what do people see when they see that? They say, okay, well, I guess I have to get into scams because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to make it in life. If I don't become a millionaire now, if I don't get on my grind now, hey, it sucks that other people have to get scammed, but I have to do it because then I want to be able to provide a life for myself, my family, my friends.
You want this one? Okay, here's coin. I have one. Here you go. Okay, good luck. Thank you. You win? No? Okay, my coin.
Can I take it, please?
My coin?
Yes, can I take
Wait, my coin?
Everything the show
And Barack was not tolerated. Straight to jail.
Parodied is what Mr. Beast had already been doing to a lesser extent. He just brought it right up to the line before executing people.
If I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. You're gonna get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? Like I was not having a good time. I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it. I needed it, of course. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
He was lauded for his YouTube recreation.
For anyone who missed that saga during the Mr. Beast stuff, the TLDR is that Mr. Beast did one of those videos where it's like, you get $10,000 a day for every day that you stay in this room. But the room was made the same way that reality TV shows are made, to cause as much suffering and inflict as much suffering as possible to milk these people for the content cows that they are. And so this guy is like spending, I don't remember how many days he ended up spending in there, but he spent some number of days in there, maybe weeks, I don't know. And like, they're not turning off the light. They're playing music really loud. I think they weren't giving him like, they were giving him like really bad food. I don't remember. Yeah, it was a less extreme version of the video from the documentary, The Contestant, for those of you who were there for that stream that we watched. It's content brain. It is content brain at its like worst version. Like that is the final boss of content brain. Mr. Beast is the final boss of content brain. Someone else also elaborated on the COVID era supply chain justified inflation as much as it was justified initially. It was heavily abused in a ton of companies. After a few months, got replaced by tariff justified. Yeah, for the TLDR and anyone who didn't follow that stuff either. Let's say this is like, these are luxury good prices, and these are luxury. These are like groceries, right? These were like the prices at like 20, let's say 18. Then we have COVID. Supply chains are actually fucked. Prices go up. Post-COVID, once we've actually recovered, I would say like 2023, luxury good prices go down. I think they went back down to like pre-COVID rates. And guess what? Inelastic goods, grocery store prices continue to artificially boost their prices, maintain their initial pricing. Because if people have already spent the past year paying double the amount for groceries, it's not like they can just not buy groceries. What are you going to do? Just starve? Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, Kroger, did I hallucinate this, or did I not hallucinate this? Wasn't Kroger investigated and admitted to price gouging? Or did I lose my mind? Did I hallucinate Kroger admitting to overcharging for goods? Investigation finds grocery giant Kroger overcharging shoppers on sale items. You're shopping at a family Kroger-owned grocery store when you notice the sale price for Cheerios and grab a box, but later at the checkout, it rings up for full price. Data entry error or part of a nefarious scheme to deliberately overcharge you. Oh, this was a different scam, I guess. A joint investigation by Consumer Reports, Guardian, and the Food and Environment Reporting network doesn't answer the question, but found more than 150 overcharging errors at 26 stores owned by the Ohio-based supermarket across 14 states in months-long investigation. The outlets enlisted secret shoppers who found expired sales labels that led to overcharges and that averaged 170 per item or 18.4%. This is a separate problem. This isn't even the price gouging problem that I was looking into. Or that they were getting investigated for. Hi, Wormy. Ha, here it is. Senior Director of Pricing at Kroger testified in a federal lawsuit that the company raised prices for some products higher than inflation. Okay. All right.
Getting more views than the original source material. In our entertainment landscape that values views and dollars more than anything else, there's no other conclusion you can really come to.
And all I thought about was art and music. Now I'm 36, and all I think about is money.
People argued Mr. Beast's video was superior because the original took 12 years for the creator to get into production. Meanwhile, a YouTuber can recreate it in a few months, stealing all the challenges and aesthetics and stripping it of the art and social commentary. He parlayed the success of the Squid Games video into a full-length series of the same nature on Amazon Prime called Beast Games.
1,000 contestants! Are you all ready?
It's hard not to put yourself in the shoes of the contestants, knowing what's at stake. There's a bizarre detachment to what the reality of money is for normal people. The show has a sanitized triviality regarding the stakes of what's happening. Someone will be seconds away from winning hundreds of thousands of dollars and fail to meet some arbitrary criteria, shattering their dreams. They could have been on the precipice of leaving a housing situation plagued with domestic violence, finally being able to leave the job they hate and starting their own business, or a parent being able to spend time with their children for once. Then Mr. Beast pulls a lever and says, "Bummer!" Before a single mother's dropped through a trap door while he makes soy face into the camera.
Oh my God!
There were 2,000 contestants, so there wasn't.
She died, by the way. Shut the fuck up. She didn't. No one died in the game. Shut up. Stop. Would it be irresponsible for me to check out now? I'm getting depressed. No, don't worry. We're gonna turn this shit around.
In a deep dive into anybody's individual story. You could just see glimpses of their life in between challenges. When deciding on picking team captains for somebody that would be bribed in exchange for eliminating their team members, somebody was trying to prove their integrity by saying, "I'm an army veteran, I'm living out of my car." There was a murmur in the group. Did he just say he was homeless? I don't want to trust a hobo. A woman tries to stick up for him. He's not homeless, he lives in his car by choice. I think Mr. Beast should be in charge of military recruiting. Enlistment is down with Gen Z. Less people are willing to join the meat grinder just for a Dodge Hellcat. But what if the signing bonus was a Dodge Hellcat or a mystery box? We're already at the point we're sitting in air-conditioned offices, flying explosive drones into people's homes with joysticks. For every day your platoon is able to occupy Aleppo, your child will receive an extra $1,000 towards their college fund. I was joking about this, and then I saw the Pentagon was actually in communications to collaborate with Mr. Beast on a project. Apparently it fell through, but there was a cute little cameo from the Navy SEALs in episode 5 of Beast Games, so we can only speculate on what level of involvement the—
Sorry, chat. This is really important. My worms are here. Meerkat, you're in the way. People can't see Wormy. Okay, sorry. Back to the video.
The Department of Defense will have on future content. I don't hate Mr. Beast. He does give more to charity than 99% of us ever will, and at the end of the day is just a guy that makes YouTube videos. He just gives me this queasy feeling that we're living in a dystopia, that if you lose your leg, your best bet is accidentally running into a YouTuber that thinks it will go viral if they give you a prosthetic leg. He thinks as much himself. Hating Mr. Beast would be like hating a hurricane. He was inevitable. The social media algorithms and distribution of new media were the low-pressure zone required for him to form. If you told a supercomputer to be the most popular YouTuber of all time, they would be doing the same exact thing as Mr. Beast. He's reverse-engineered YouTube's code to give us exactly what engineers in Silicon Valley think will keep us watching. When decisions are made solely on market research, algorithm optimization, and return on investment, the content becomes a procedural checking of boxes better suited for an AI than an artist. If Amazon or Netflix create an artificial intelligence to dictate programming, what will be lost from our culture? At this point, would we even notice? How did we get here? The year is 1990. Looming threat of nuclear war with Russia, mullets and baggy pants. Joe Biden is running for re-election and Mike Tyson lost his first fight. The Simpsons premiered on Fox. The year is 2024. Mullets and baggy pants. Looming threat of nuclear war with Russia. Mike Tyson lost his last fight, and Joe Biden lost his last re-election. The Simpsons finished its 34th season. 34 years of cultural stagnation. The grips of nostalgia have destroyed the infrastructure of our institutions, and the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight was the final nail in the coffin of meritocracy. Their fight was a metaphor for the entertainment landscape at large. Mike Tyson representing Hollywood, the behemoth and cultural icon of the past, well past his prime, and being paraded out regardless of his ability, based on his reputation that he can sell tickets.
No, I don't believe in the word legacy. I just think that's another word for ego. Legacy doesn't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm just passing through. I'm gonna die. It's gonna be over. Who the fuck cares about me? People that think that I'm different. Great, no, we're nothing. We're dead. We're dust. Absolutely nothing. Our legacy is nothing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is something that I have not heard before. So thank you so much for giving me that kind of idea as well.
Love you too.
Jake Paul, the influencer, the self-made man that circumvented the traditional path to success. Nobody told him he was the world's greatest boxer. He said it for us. A master in marketing and navigating the algorithm to get his face on the screen, fueled equal parts by love and hate, leaning into his role as the heel with people tuning in and buying pay-per-views just to see him get knocked out. But that doesn't matter. You don't have to be liked or respected to make it rich in America. You just have to be seen. William Deresiewicz explains in his Atlantic article, "The death of the artist and the birth of the creative entrepreneur." No more gatekeepers, goes the slogan of the internet apostles. Everyone's opinion, as expressed in Amazon reviews and such like, carries equal weight. The democratization of taste. Judgment rested with the patron in the age of the artisan. In the age of the genius, it largely rested with the artists themselves. In the age of the professional, it rested with the critic. But now we've come to the age of the customer, who perforce is always right. Whereas a certain
Consumer-based politics have destroyed this country, by the way. I've stood by this opinion for, I think, a decade now. This is the reason that the country's gone to shit. I'm not even like just joking or being hyperbolic or like agreeing with the video. I'm saying that if you look at Lena Khan and the work that she's done, and the time that she spent going after multi-million, billion-dollar corporations like Amazon, you'll find that all of our antitrust laws, this is one example of how the consumer-based politics in the United States have destroyed our country. Antitrust laws, for example, are based on consumer pricing, not based on worker rights. which was always the incorrect play when we originally were building those antitrust laws. Antitrust laws obviously come from the like oil monopolies that existed, that would go into an area, buy out all of the competition, offer a lower price, and then when they're the only people left, they would hike up the price as much as they could, right? And that was considered, again, obviously against the consumer's interest, and that's why it wasn't allowed. If you were engaging in activity that could stifle a consumer's ability to easily obtain the goods that they were previously getting before, you would be struck down by antitrust laws. Unfortunately, we didn't consider the reality or like the possibility of a company like Amazon, where they consistently offer the cheapest prices possible. It's because it's standard oil monopoly. Yeah. When I say monopolies, I don't mean oil. I mean like there was an oil monopoly. There was, I believe, was it steel or like railroad monopoly? There were multiple destroying this country. Standard Oil was like the big one that forced us into antitrust laws in the first place. But Amazon, might have been trains. Amazon was it's one of the things that Lena Khan was trying to fight. But she had to fight it in a very specific way because our antitrust laws don't allow fighting it to protect workers. You can only fight it to protect consumers. You can sort of fight it with IP, which is what she argued as well. Basically, sellers would create products. They would create product listings. Amazon would find that these product listings did really well, and then they would make their Amazon Basics version, and they would provide the Amazon Basics version at a cheaper price, consistently at a cheaper price, because they could mass produce it. And then they would, because it's not only are they making the product, it's their, not search engine, but their marketplace. So they would promote the Amazon Basics product over your original idea. Which I haven't followed that case in a while. I would have to go back and check and see what happened on that. TLDR, the reason why we can't get reform for companies like Amazon and how Amazon treats its workers, or even like how Tesla treats its workers, is because our antitrust laws are consumer focused, not worker focused. And it was always a mistake that we went in the direction of being consumer focused instead of worker focused. So wages, maybe things have become consistently cheap. Maybe luxury goods have become consistently cheaper, but basic necessities haven't. Because obviously inelastic goods, it's not like you can choose to not eat food, not drink water, not need housing. You don't choose, or rather the vast majority of people aren't choosing, I actually kind of don't need housing. I don't need safe, warm housing. I don't need that. You don't choose to not need insulin, right? People with diabetes, it's not like they're like, you know what? I was actually just like making it up. I don't actually need the insulin. And with inelastic goods, you can price gouge, you can price hike, all these other things, massive problems with that, these smaller economies, right? And so you're getting fucked when you're purchasing, because inelastic goods, there don't have to be explicit monopolies for markets to set the prices of things, or for food deserts to exist, or for most recently it was like renters were using this website that helps them determine like the profit maximization curve on like how many units should be vacant so they can sell the most, or they can make the most money every month, which like that might be entering into antitrust territory that could hurt consumers. But again, I haven't followed that story in a hot minute. So was it Real Page? I think it was Real Page. But again, when you're these things are less important when you aren't getting fucked on the worker basis, but people are getting fucked on the worker rights. People's worker rights, like your rights as a worker, as an employee, are non-existent. You get fired. When you get fired, you have an injury, too bad, get fucked. You need your, and here's the other thing, because American jobs are tied to healthcare, most people are afraid to leave their job because they need it for healthcare. even if you, and if you obviously have pre-existing conditions or you have any active conditions, then you really are fucked. Then you really can't leave. But even for people who are otherwise healthy, able-bodied, they don't have any conditions, don't have any pre-existing conditions, you know, eat well, work out. They just happen to, you know, get lucky, not have any, again, disabilities that they've had to deal with. Even those people are like, I don't want to leave my job because what if something happens? I need my health care. I can't just not, I don't want to just like raw dog life. And then like what? I get hit by a fucking car and I'm fucked? Well, I guess when you get hit by a car, to be fair, the insurance would pay you out. But hit and run. And you can't get their tag. Oh yeah, this was like crazy. BlackRock is suing United Healthcare for giving too much care to patients after the CEO was murdered. This was fucking crazy. United Healthcare, after the CEO execution, they were like, okay, fine. We'll give out a little bit more coverage. Okay, we will deny a little bit less. All right, we'll deny a little bit less claims. We understand people are really mad because we deny, what was it, like a third of all claims? They're like the highest, they're the worst company for this. They have the highest rate of denying claims. And they were like, fine. We'll deny a couple less claims. Please don't kill anymore, boys. And BlackRock's solution, our profits are down. Hello? Won't someone think of the investors? So, not to blab, but yeah, it's a fucked system. And the fact that we didn't build our system around laborers, the fact that we didn't build our system around the people who produce, the people who contribute, and instead we built our system around the people who consume, we were fucked on like, I would say, one example of how badly we got fucked was the introduction of antitrust laws, the way that they were introduced.
Certain legendary entertainer is supposed to have put it, there's a sucker born every minute. Another word for gatekeepers is experts. Lord knows they have their problems, beginning with arrogance. But there's one thing you can say for them. They're not so quite easily fooled. The breakdown in trust of the institutions after repeated failure has opened up avenues for con men to come in and fill in the gaps. Are they up for the task? At the highest level of performance, you need a deeper understanding of the craft to appreciate the nuance that separates somebody from the top 10% and the top 0.1%. The best boxer in the world isn't focused on marketing, he's focused on boxing. There needs to be an infrastructure of support around them to package what it is they excel at to an audience. There's currently a legitimate heavyweight champion of the world, and nobody knows his name compared to Jake Paul. Somebody that's passably competent with an eye for promotion ends up overshadowing once-in-a-generation talents. Comedy clubs experience a similar problem with social media personalities touring the circuit despite never having done stand-up. Even the most respected comedy clubs are still a business and can't say no to a guaranteed sellout. Roughly 8 weekends out of their 52-week calendar will be booked by people with little to no live performance background. One time I opened for Ed Bassmaster, whose claim to fame was walking up to people on the street and asking them a question, and then going... That's about it. I was hosting the show. I was booked to warm up the crowd, and then he was going to do costume changes.
Please stop typing Jake Paul Mpreg.
And while he's off stage getting dressed, I would go on stage and fill more time. I met him in the green room and was like, hey, my name's Jarrett. How long do you want me to do in between costume changes? He's like 2 to 3 minutes top. And make sure to get my character names correct. Don't mess it up. It's Gerard Douche, Mumbles, Skippy, and Chip Diamond. Make sure you nail those. And I'm like, yeah, all right, dude. So I go on stage, I do my host set, and then I introduce the first character, Mumbles, which is just a ripoff of Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. He says hi, and then the crowd goes nuts, but he didn't have any material planned, so in character, he just starts talking about his real-life accomplishments. He's like, man, I'm so happy to be here. We got big things in the works. I just sold a project to Netflix. We're gonna be on Netflix, guys, and they're just going nuts. He's only up there for like 2 minutes, then he's like, okay, bring the host back up on stage. I go on stage and do my 3 minutes, and then I see from the sound booth they're telling me to stretch because he's not ready yet. So I just keep going, and I do 10 minutes. He comes back on stage for his next character, which is just a ripoff of Andrew Dice Clay. He's flicking his cigarette in the crowd. He still doesn't have any material. He's like, yo, we just sold a project to Netflix. So he just did the same thing again, but as his different character, because he didn't write any jokes for, he maybe had like 30 seconds of material, and then he's like, hey, we got big things in the works. Oh, I'm a celebrity, boom. I go back on stage, do another 3 minutes. He's not ready again. I do another 10 minutes. Then I bring him back on stage for a third time. I'm like, okay, this must be the big one. I go to the bathroom, I come back into the showroom, and the crowd is dead silent. He's like, he has this look of terror in his eyes. He's just like panicking and like scanning the crowd. He's like, where is he? Host, get back on stage. I had to remember the names Mumbles and Gerard Douche, and he didn't bother to remember my one Christian name. The show was about 45 minutes long, and he was paid $8,000. I did 37 of those minutes for him, and I think I got paid like 50 bucks. And I was still young at the time. I didn't think I was the one that deserved to be headlining. But it's taking away potential stage time from people further along in their careers that are trying to get better at this and trying to get to the point where they could sell out their own crowds. Somebody that the local hosts and features in our scene would be able to learn from by working with them for the weekend and building connections. Robert De Niro's first big break was playing a younger version of Marlon Brando in The Godfather 2. An elder statesman of Hollywood passed the torch for the next generation star to be born. When it came time for him to...
Yeah, I mean, the best at something isn't usually... Sorry, the person who's the best at something isn't usually the person who's the most famous for that thing. And with... This is like... Was it Jacksepticeye? I think it was Jacksepticeye who was like one of the first people to like shit on Mr. Beast and say like he's the worst person for this platform or whatever. And I genuinely... I'm not supposed to like this person. I'm not supposed to simp hardcore. He was right and he should have said it. He tried to warn us.
to play the old mob boss at the end of his career in The Irishman. Instead of casting a new face to carry on the mantle of the American crime movie, they used CGI to
Villainy, thank you for the 53 months.
de-age a 78-year-old Robert De Niro to look 62 and play a 30-year-old version of himself. His wrinkles were smoothed over, but his arthritic skeleton lurked beneath the surface of CGI and special effects. He moved with the grace of Joe Biden climbing the stairs to Air Force One. They cast somebody who couldn't convincingly open a jar of pickles, throwing thugs through windows and stomping out rival gang members before hobbling away like your grandpa looking for his chair in the shower. Steven Seagal is playing Special Forces operators, reporting to his 89-year-old commanding officer.
The decrepit old man in the army uniform and is like, well, I don't know if we can get up that mountain by sunrise.
We're so preoccupied with name recognition, we haven't been able to gracefully transition to the next class. We have a generation of super seniors still hanging out at the local high school, making teenage girls uncomfortable and offering them quaaludes. The spots for writers and actors in general became much more limited following the boom of reality television after the 2007 writers' strike. The studios had an adversarial relationship with creatives and told them, we can do this for the most part without you.
You preach theater etiquette to my kids, put your phone away. You preach theater etiquette, put it away.
There's sheep right there. We're gonna have to speed up a little. She's zooming, dude.
Sure, you're a Shakespearean-trained actor, but will anybody watch your stupid play if Snooki is getting punched in the face outside? The scripted projects that were greenlit were mostly star vehicles and existing IPs, and the audiences didn't seem to mind. Audiences are still paying to see Frankie Valli wheeled out like he's in Weekend at Bernie's, blinking "Help Me" in Morse code, instead of trying to support new bands at local shows. It's a short-sighted model that's beginning to implode on itself. If we don't start investing in talent while they're young, once the older generation passes away, they won't have the experience needed to develop into what the icons of the past used to be. The director of The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola, tried to tackle the issue of studios not taking chances and stifling artists' creative vision by starting his own. I
mean, isn't it a little bit crazy that, like, SpongeBob was pitched, what, 15 times? Maybe not 15. I don't remember the exact number. There's a lot of animated series that had to get pitched, like, over 10 times before they made it. Let me see. He pitched it 13 times. Steven Hillenburg pitched it 13 times to Nickelodeon. And I'm pretty sure the only reason that they actually gave him the green light for it, 2 reasons. One, he had already written so many other things for them and worked with Nickelodeon already for so many different things. They were like, fine, you can have one pet project. You can do your little show. But they told him that the one stipulation was that kids weren't going to not empathize. They weren't going to be able to find this character relatable. So you have to put him in school somehow. Kids aren't going to want to see an adult that goes to work. You have to put him in some type of school. So he wrote in the entirety of, like, the boating school thing. I mean, what if you went to someone and said, so there's a yellow sponge in pants under the sea? What would you expect? Well, yeah, but, like, this is coming from someone who's, like, a relatively talented, well, actually very talented in the industry, who has, like, a pilot who has this universe built out. Like, do you know how much imagination it must have taken for someone to come up with this universe with all of these characters? Like, that's incredible levels of creativity that you should be trusting in, right? And he had to pitch it so many times, and they were like, this show isn't going to do well. And they eventually, like, gave in. They caved and gave him, like, what he wanted, because they were like, whatever, you can have your one season that's going to fail, and then we'll move on. And then it ended up being their biggest fucking cow. And then it made them, like, how many millions of dollars? And when he said, just make sure it dies when I die, they didn't let him. And then it became the sort of soulless husk that it is now. Highly recommend, Chad, if you've never watched if it's been a long time or you've never watched it as an adult, you have to say imagination like SpongeBob. You're right here. Sorry, imagination. If you've never watched it as an adult, go back and watch it. The first 3 seasons are some of the best media I have seen in my life. It's so fucking good. Where do you even watch it? I know a couple pirates. I know a couple.
1969, he founded Zoetrope Studios, a studio by artists.
Denims endorsing Houthi terrorist ? Hello, Twitch, ban her.
For artists.
Francis said, I've had it with these big Hollywood movies. I've had it with Hollywood. I don't want to do this. I want to do something more interesting.
Coppola shared his vision for the new company with Lucas.
I came back with great enthusiasm, and I told young George Lucas about this vision of, like, having a place out in the country, and we'll just make the bedrooms editing rooms, and we'll discuss the script in the garden, and we'll have lunch together, and there'll be, all these young people working together. We'll be independent.
He had clear paths for development, with in-house school and internships, profit sharing for employees, and mentorship programs, where the old guard of every position would take people under their wings and develop their talent for their future careers.
Maybe you could, like, please, I'm hoping, segue into how the internet was this for a period of time, that the internet was a break from the industry, that anyone, regardless of talent, regardless of skill, regardless of money, could get into content, could get into just, like, making things. It not even content. It wasn't called content. It was, you made a blog that you were really proud of, that shared information about something. Do you guys remember when, like, game FAQs, not like the website, but, like, well, actually, yeah, the website, when there were, like, guides to gaming that were actually good, and you didn't have to read fucking the 3 paragraphs just to find out that patch 8 isn't here yet? Do you remember like websites and blogs that were dedicated to just like people talking about this thing that they loved? Do you remember when YouTube really was just people making things because they wanted to make those things?
Light the candle to show that, you know, that new hope is springing.
This is good. Their strategy was to parlay the success of each film and roll over any money they made into developing their next project. In 1982, investors lost faith and started to pull their funding. Coppola took out millions in personal loans and put up his house for collateral to make the film One from the Heart. The film generated $600,000 against a $26 million budget. The studio went belly up and Coppola had to file for bankruptcy. He was forced to go back to the studio system, directing safe films to recoup his losses. After several successful business ventures and recouping his fortune, he was set on making his 40-year passion project, Megalopolis. Spoiler alert, massive piece of dog shit.
Messed up.
1 year of medical school entitles you to plow through the riches of my Emersonian mind?
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes. So go back to the club.
The movie was...
I love that scene. I love that scene. Entitles me? Yes. Entitles me? Yes. Sorry. It feels like two poorly programmed robots talking to each other.
Megalopolis. Spoiler alert, massive piece of dog shit.
And you think 1 year of medical school entitles you to plow through the riches of my Emersonian mind?
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes. So go back to the club.
The movie was based on Elon Musk.
Yes. Entitles me? Yeah. The movie's called Megalopolis. Is that what it's called? Wait. I'm sorry. I got so lost in the sun. Yeah, I was right. Yes. Sorry, okay.
His favorite book, Bad Sign, 12 Against the Gods. It's set in an alternate version of New York City, mixed with the Roman Empire, and tells the story of Caesar, a billionaire creative genius that discovers a new molecule that kind of looks like an Art Deco building and vaguely does something cool. His vision is to rebuild the entire city out of this material, and the mayor Cicero says, I don't know, that kind of seems like a waste of money. You know, we have, thousands of people starving in the streets. We could use that money for healthcare. This is the villain of the film. The entire thing is just such a Hollywood elite power fantasy. At one point, the main character is arrested for
Unlawful intercourse with a minor, statutory rape, and more coming. What are you talking about?
And then he has a team of Charlie's Angel-style supermodels break into the records department and prove that she was lying and was actually a 23-year-old, thus exonerating him of the sex crime. Caesar goes into debt mirroring Coppola until an asteroid destroys the city and he gets to rebuild with his fancy Art Deco molecule. None of the material conditions of the starving masses are addressed, but he gets to rebuild the city with copper moving sidewalks like an airport terminal. This is the happy ending. Megalopolis lost $110 million of the director's own money, and there's something kind of beautiful about that.
Dude, I actually love this man. Wait, I love him. I actually love him.
I'm thrilled to accept the Razzie in so many important categories for Megalopolis, and for the distinctive honor of being nominated as the worst director, worst screenplay, and worst picture, at a time when so few have the courage to go against the prevailing trends of contemporary movie making. In this wreck of a world today, where art is given scores as if it were professional wrestling, I choose not to follow the gutless rules laid down by an industry so terrified of risks that despite the enormous pool of young talent at its disposal, may not create pictures that will be relevant and alive 50 years from now. What an honor to stand alongside great and courageous filmmakers like Jacques Tati, who impoverished himself completely to make one of cinema's most beloved failures, Playtime. My sincere thanks to all my brilliant colleagues who join me to make our work of art, Megalopolis. And let us remind ourselves that box office is only about money, and like war, stupidity, and politics, has no true place in our future. He made exactly what he wanted to make and paid no mind to studio executives or what he thought would be profitable. He says, screw my kid's inheritance. Sophia's got that lost in translation money. She'll figure it out. He blew his life savings so we could see Aubrey Plaza's titties one last time before he died. He did that for us. Reusing the same roster of creatives can save money for a project's advertisement budget. It's much more difficult for people to go see a stage play set in the 1800s about a group of strangers waiting out a blizzard than it is for them to go see the newest Tarantino movie. You don't have to build up hype from the ground floor. You already have the goodwill from the success of the last project. But sometimes that goodwill can run dry and people become a brand risk. Ezra Miller was cast as the Flash and set to be the new face.
Did you see the movie? No, but I'm going to. No, but I'm going to. I mean, guys, like, you have to understand that, like, to be... Sorry, I'm gonna get political. I'm gonna get political if you guys don't mind. Stupid. To be a conservative is to hate art. That is fundamentally a required stance as a conservative. That's why so many of them hate modern art. That's why so many of them refuse to engage with art that they don't understand. They only engage with art that they understand because being challenged is difficult for them. They only want to engage with classic Greco-Roman sculptures and realism in painting and photography that is non-derivative, if that makes sense. And they are incapable of engaging with anything outside of that. And I remember the first art history class I ever took, I was like, wait, I fucking get it. And like, you get it too, chat. Even if you think you don't like modern art, you do. You just don't know that you do. Or you've just seen only modern art that you don't like. Because I don't like all the modern art I've seen. I've seen lots of modern art. I'm like, boring. Boring. And some stuff is like some of the most moving stuff I've ever seen. Like I've teared up in museums looking at things that other people walk right by. Right? But it's like there's something about seeing someone create something true to themselves.
My goat.
That is moving. I don't know how else to explain it. Again, it's one of those things where you not like, again, and it's not everything. Not everything's going to move you. Some things that are going to be considered art by some people are not going to be considered art by other people, right? I mean, even things like Elden Ring, right? There are people who they refuse to open themselves up to the medium of gaming, that they refuse to engage with so much art because in their mind, this is all garbage this is all senseless garbage meant to like placate the masses and that's it. There's nothing else there. But for all the people that worked on it, they made something together that I would classify as art to share with the world. Even like things that are not serious, things that are silly. I mean, I don't mean to be this fucking loser again, but like Homestuck, like that was, it's not good. I don't think it's good. I don't think the Homestuck series is good. It's one of the largest pieces of media written in, I think it is the largest actually, written in second person, not first, not third. And it's just, it is such a different experience from anything else I've ever consumed. To this day, it is the most interesting, unique piece of media that I have ever consumed. Which is just like, most of it's not good. And I've tried to get other people into it and they didn't like it. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's fine. That's okay. The only bad art is art that's hollow. Correct. 100% agree. I mean, that's why people hate. So like, there is a point of just like the slopification, the content slopification that gets so bad that it's unbearable for everyone. Like the marvelification of movies. That there is a certain point of Marvel, that there's a certain point of like Marvel movies where it's just like, this is just the same thing over again. You got this formula that you really like. There's no fucking art in this. There's no soul in this. There's just like you guys making a movie to try and make as much money as possible. It's why people hate live action remakes so much and why we all need to thank Rachel Zegler. Personally, I believe the movie failed because Gal Gadot's acting is horrendous. Actually, one of the worst atrocities committed by the IDF, in my humble opinion, but, you know, to each their own. But we should all be thanking Rachel Zegler for playing any part at all in getting Disney to finally stop doing live action remakes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel Zegler. Thank you. Thank you.
Face of the DC cinematic universe, and then proceeded to terrorize the population of Hawaii for the next 2 years. They were charged with allegedly choking a woman, assaulting 2 people at a karaoke bar, kicking in a couple's door and threatening to kill them, stealing somebody's passport, hitting a woman over the head with a chair, burglarizing a home, and has been accused on 2 separate instances of grooming 12 years.
Sorry, what did we wow. Sorry, what?
But sometimes that goodwill can run dry and people become a brand risk. Ezra Miller was cast as the Flash and set to be the new face of the DC cinematic universe, and then proceeded to terrorize the population of Hawaii for the next 2 years. They were charged with allegedly choking a woman, assaulting 2 people at a karaoke bar, kicking in a couple's door and threatening to kill them, stealing somebody's passport, hitting a woman over the head with a chair, burglarizing a home, and has been accused on 2 separate instances of grooming 12-year-olds to join their sex cult. They became an Avengers-level threat that ascended to the level of cryptid. Chupacabra, Wendigo, Ezra. Parents in Oahu warned their children not to stay out after dark, otherwise the Flash would get them. Similarly, Marvel abandoned the storyline of Kang after the actor Jonathan Majors pulled a Homer Simpson on his wife, allegedly. Human beings are a liability. We used to go see the newest Scorsese or Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Nowadays, the star isn't...
I have to pee really bad, but I have earbuds I can hear. I'm still listening. Chair react for like 5 seconds. Don't be mad. I just really have to pee.
Necessarily the creator or the leading man of the film, but the character themselves. Fictional characters are infallible. Batman can never Me Too somebody.
Robin, if you want to go on the next mission, first you have to do something for me.
Like what, Batman?
I've just been really stressed out lately and need something to decompress.
Well, golly, how can I help?
Do you remember rule number 1 of being a hero?
Never reveal your secret identity.
More broadly.
The importance of keeping a secret?
Precisely. Robin, grab the bat lube.
After Iranian General Soleimani was killed in a U.S. airstrike in 2019, a prominent cleric was asked, who can we take out as revenge against America for what they've done to us? He responded,
Think about it. Who are we supposed to take out? Spider-Man and SpongeBob? They don't have any heroes. We have a country in front of us with a large population and a large landmass, but it doesn't have any heroes. All of the heroes are cartoon characters. They're all fictional.
People are reaching a fatigue with existing IPs. Interests are waning in superheroes and Fast and Furious movies. The cow is milked dry. The udders are chafing. We have to keep trying for new ideas and characters that will define the cultural zeitgeist for our next generation. The places I'm still seeing produce interesting art are getting away with it by diversifying their artistic investment portfolio. Instead of dropping $300 million on It's Morbid Time. What if you spent $15 million making 20 original movies and just going all out? Some of them will suck, some of them will be great, but we have to try. It's a gamble, but when you're in the business of distributing art to society, it's worth the risk. If all you care about is money, get into arbitrage or health insurance. The mainstream entertainment system can get away with not taking risks by reusing their tried and true roster of proven talent, rebooting a...
I'm back. It was a good pee. Also, this is why, chat, it doesn't matter how many pieces of media I say I don't like. If you like it, that's all that matters, dude. That's it. Who gives a fuck if I didn't like it. If you watched a movie or you watched a TV show and you loved it and I said I hated it, who gives a shit? You like it. I don't care what other people say. I like Twilight. I don't care if it's the worst movie on the planet. I don't give a shit what other people think about it. I liked watching it. Every time I've watched it, I've loved watching it. It's a hilarious piece of media. It is bad. It's bad, and I like watching it. Great soundtrack. Such a bizarre scenario. Such bizarre characters. Great actors. Like, I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed my experience watching it. And it can be a 1 out of 10 movie. It can have 0 out of 5 stars.
I can't believe you had the take on Star Wars in Andor. You have the blood of millions of Andorians on your hands.
Because I don't care what other people like or what they don't like, right? I like what I like. If other people don't like it, who gives a shit? It's not for them. And if I don't like what you don't like, then it wasn't for me.
Franchise or making another sequel, or taking whatever's currently popular on the internet and consider that passing the first round of focus group testing. That's how we end up with the Rizzler on Jimmy Fallon. NBC said if this is what America wants, we'll give it to them. Bring him out on primetime for the masses. Jimmy Fallon is a transitionary figure in the media landscape who grew up in a different age of entertainment. He came up watching Bob Hope and Johnny Carson and is trying to carry on the format of their shows for a new audience and culture. The nature of fame and what a celebrity is has changed since the 70s.
You'd think he would be famous for being the last guy to be on the moon. His name was Harrison Schmitt. He's not famous, but a girl with a giant ass is famous. Now, when I was young, a man who went to the moon was famous. And a lady with a giant ass, you'd go, can you stand over there? Because this is...
Where they'd previously interview child prodigies like Michael Jackson, now they're interviewing a child... something. Prodigy's not the right word. Comedian's not the right word. Brand? He's not sure what to do with him. Is he to be treated like an artist and we dive into his creative process? What is there to say?
What's the story behind the...
So basically one day I came home from school and I was like, Dad, I want to make a video. And I was like, this is how to do the bridge face, and then I just didn't.
Late night has always been a secondary...
I mean, this is, dare I even argue, the Asmongold-ification of the internet. Not just even the Mr. Beastification. It's just, it doesn't matter how bad the content is. It doesn't matter if it's like the lowest common denominator type of garbage. What matters is people are watching it. That's what matters. The roachification. People are watching it, and a lot of them are enjoying it. And I mean, that is like peak cultural nihilism, right? Just like the people who watch Asmongold, like those people don't give a shit about like any of the topics he talks about. Most of the people who watch Asmongold they feel that if I may be so bold, this might be too far. This might be too cancelable. The people, I think the vast majority, maybe I'm wrong. I think the vast majority of people who watch Asmongold are insisting on contributing to and engaging in a loser culture for losers that insists that nothing matters, that all of it is a joke and a shit show anyways, so I'm just going to enjoy watching the world burn. Because it's much more difficult to put yourself out there and be hurt by what's out there in the world and keep trying anyways. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, it doesn't matter how many times you fuck up, it doesn't matter how many times you post cringe. Everybody posts cringe. And you're not cool for never having posted cringe because you never tried. You're not cool because you never got invested in the first place. That doesn't make you cool. That just makes you someone who doesn't even want to try. That just makes you a quitter. You're not cool just because you're a nihilist because you don't care. That's a loser mentality for losers. You assume you will lose, and so you aren't even willing to try. What a dumb policy. What a dumb way to live your life. I don't care. You know what? If I post cringe another 100 times on the internet, but I got to say what I wanted to say and I impacted anyone else in even a little bit of a positive way, I did my job. Okay, I did my job for the day. I'm going to post more. It's a promise. I will post more cringe. I can assure all of you, I will be posting more cringe in the future. I will be posting cringe today. I will be posting cringe tomorrow. But I will be alive and I will be living. I will not be molding. I will not be roaching. I'll be living. And you guys should live too. And if that means you like cringe media, you like cringe media, okay? And if that means you put yourself out there and do something embarrassing in front of people, who gives a shit? Who cares? Do you think anyone no one cares. No one cares at all. You should enjoy life. And you're not cooler for pretending like you don't care. Because everybody cares. You've just convinced yourself you don't care. Like, that you don't care about not participating, excuse me. No one cares about you being cringe. No one will remember it, I promise. No one who matters in your life, I promise you. The cringiest thing you've done in your life, there's a good chance no one even remembers it. They're too busy thinking about the cringe shit they've done in their life. I know that's how I am. I can think of 100 cringe things I've done. And if I had to sit here and think of the cringiest things my friends have done, maybe I could come up with 1 or 2 things. And guess what? They have so many amazing qualities and they've done so many amazing things. All their cringe does is humanize them and make me like them more. But pretending like, oh, I don't care about anything ever. You know what? Let the world burn. Who cares? Nice try tricking yourself into believing that. But we're not in middle school anymore, Billy. Grow up. All right? Please, grow up.
Form of entertainment. Whether it be musicians or filmmakers, they would go on to promote their upcoming projects to a new audience, give a behind-the-scenes look to existing fans, or offer creative insights and inspiration to the people wanting to follow in their footsteps. As a talk show host, Fallon has spent 20 years humanizing titans of the industry and showing that despite their talent and influence, they're still just like us. What do we do when we already know that they're just like us? Neither the host nor the audience can pinpoint his exact talent, just that he has a gravitational pull of power. You can see the fear of the unknown in Jimmy's eyes as he offers him treats to get in his good graces. The segment was more akin to when a wildlife expert would showcase exotic and deadly animals to the host. The Rizzler, lying in wait like the Black Mamba, ready to strike at the throat of late-night television. If entertainment gets to
GB Cats, thank you for the 20 gifts. What the hell? Thank you.
The point of superficiality, where it doesn't
just know. Thank you.
Inspire any discussion or thoughts. There's no need for interviews or a variety show. We won't need to discuss the meaning or interpretations of art. The only meaning to the Costco guys is that there is no meaning. Can you imagine 100 years from
this beat's kind of going hard. Also, yeah, They think they're fooling people saying the world's so shit, why even try, when the truth is they couldn't actually do anything in the first place. Oh yeah, I would say a good portion of people, they've spent so long telling themselves that like, why would I even try? It doesn't matter anyways, that they've forgotten how to try. And the other half are rapidly approaching that territory. Rapidly. And it's sad. It's very sad. It's very, very sad.
From now in anthropology class going, okay, so today we'll be dissecting Keemstar A-logging the Haktua altcoin pump and dump scam. None of those words are in the Bible. It's just a Mad Libs of mimetic trends. Like 20 years ago, Kurt Vonnegut was on The Daily Show speaking out against the Iraq War and promoting his new book. Now the Rizzler is mewing on Fallon, reviewing slop from the Costco food court. We work with what we have, and if these are our new public intellectuals, I expect them to rise to the occasion. I am formally calling on the Rizzler to weigh in on the ICJ arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. Is there any validity to international law, or is it just to impose Western hegemony on third world nations? Where does Vladimir Putin's use of intercontinental ballistic missiles rate on the boom meter? If these children don't know where they stand on the regime change of Assad, how can we in good conscience continue to call this fraud big justice?
I can feel myself getting dumber. If I watch an entire movie without looking at my phone, I feel like a chess prodigy. It doesn't even have to be something deep. I could have my phone charging in the other room while I watch Fast and Furious. I walk around the rest of the day like I just read Finnegan's Wake. Yes, you see, Dom's love for Corona is symbolic to his allegiance to his family. Family's not solely bound by blood relation. It could be found in the eyes of a perfect stranger, the same way Corona implores you to find your own beach. Conversely, the NOS represents, is the trend going to continue? Are people going to be impressed if you watch a whole TikTok in 20 years? Like, brother, I do not have the attention span for a whole 60 seconds. I just hit my fent pump and electrocute myself to orgasm. I just found it's the most streamlined delivery system of dopamine between my second and third jobs. The people that don't have the opium zappers will be pretentious like the kids in school didn't have a TV growing up. I don't want to spend the night at Joey's house. Their family are freaks. They didn't let him get the Neuralink prostate pack. Their dad's religious and doesn't believe in fun, I guess. They just hit vapes and watch Minecraft streamers all day. They're like Amish or something. They're fucking weirdos. As the medium of media changes, it also changes us. A 2021 Harvard study reported a surge in Tourette's-like symptoms of adolescents using TikTok. The repetitive trending audios became default responses.
Very demure, very mindful.
Having a conversation with an 11-year-old feels like playing Cards Against Humanity. They just have this deck of
shoddy blood, like, that's good. Fire. It's Riz right there. That light skin Riz. Mad lit on God, no cap.
People are also self-censoring in real life to abide by social media platforms.
I hated that. No, I hated that. No. Sorry, can I make a joke at the expense of a chatter? To be clear, you're right, Zerion. You're right. But can I make one tiny little joke? Is this a joke? Is comedy legal? Can I make just a little joke? This chatter said, they really banned Hassan. I can't stand Twitch. This is this meme. Bitches be like, can't stand her fake ass. 10 minutes later, me and the bestie. Because honestly, Sam, like, this platform sucks. But I miss chat. But I miss streaming and I miss talking to chat. So I'm going to stream. Can't stand this bitch. Me 10 minutes later.
service. To get around content moderation when talking about subjects like rape or suicide, creators will use terms like unalive or SA instead. These topics aren't advertiser friendly, so they have to be talked about in a roundabout, sanitized fashion. The reverberations of that are people in the real world feeling like they have to sanitize their speech, like there's an omnipresent content moderator always standing behind them. Refraining from...
And like, this is the other sad thing, by the way. There was a really good TikTok I saw. I think it was a good TikTok. It was about fashion and how like millennials were kind of like the last real generation that got to explore being cringe because there weren't cameras all the time for everything you did. I mean, like, not to be crass, but you couldn't do like Girls Gone Wild or whatever in 2025 because it's just like whore, slut, OnlyFans, Thor's. It's like, dude, what happened to the masses when a woman would show her breasts to a group of people and everyone would be like, yes, dope. This is amazing. This is great. Thank you. What has gone wrong in society? Like, what has happened? What have we done? America used to love sluts. This shit is fucked. You know, and it's because everything's so cringe. You can't be cringe, bro. It's like, dude, I feel bad for Zoomers, and I feel really bad for Gen Alpha because they will never get to experience unadulterated cringe, right? where you didn't have to constantly be afraid that someone was fucking recording, that someone was looking at you, that someone was taking a picture of you, that someone was going to make fun of you, whatever. You got to just be cringe. As cringe as you wanted. And guess what? You didn't like that experience and it was embarrassing. Move on. You know, we all wore, I remember growing up, we wore skinny jeans, many skinny jeans, a lot of skinny jeans. Honestly, nothing but skinny jeans. All right. It was not good. It was not good. I went out yesterday and I saw a gaggle of girls that looked like they were 18, 17. I don't know. They looked like high schoolers. And every single one of them was wearing baggy jeans and baggy jackets. And I was like, am I old? I'm ancient. In my day, we never wore things that baggy. Like, it was good, you know? Biological therm is the swarm. Oh, okay. But it's sad because it's like, it's so sanitized, right? Like, what happened to Hot Topic days where everyone just like bought a bunch of garbage and put as much garbage on top of themselves? That was great. That was amazing. That was life. That was living. And look how far we've fallen. Joel, thank you for the gift sub to Legit Salvage, and thank you for the 5 gift subs. Voodoo, thank you for the 2 gift subs. Thank you also again, GB Cats, thank you again for the 20.
Profanity or talking about sex used to be from fear of eternal damnation. Now the fear is demonetization. These are heavy topics that aren't supposed to be light and advertiser friendly. You shouldn't have to say, no diddy, but I was like raped as a child. You need therapy. In Neil Postman's book, Amusing Ourselves to Death, he reflects on how the medium of communication shapes the culture. For although culture is a creation of speech, it is recreated anew by every medium of communication, from painting to hieroglyphs to the alphabet to television. Each medium, like language itself, makes possible a unique mode of discourse by providing a new orientation for thought, for expression, for sensibility. While I do not know exactly what content was once carried in the smoke signals of American Indians, I can safely guess that it did not include philosophical argument. Puffs of smoke are insufficiently complex to express ideas on the nature of existence. And even if they were not, a Cherokee philosopher would run short of either wood or blankets long before he reached his second axiom. You cannot use smoke to do philosophy. Its form excludes the content. Twitter in some respects has ruined our relationship with other human beings and has infected media and politics. The format of Twitter rewards certain styles of communication and either consciously or unconsciously has changed the way that we speak to each other. Features such as the 140 character limit strips words of their context and forces people to oversimplify complex subjects. This lends itself to sensational and divisive statements that embolden the people that agree with you and alienate those in the outgroup. The block button would eliminate naysayers from your feed and curate communities of echo chambers. The quote tweet feature, or the look at this dumbass button, would be the driving force of cancel culture. You could take people's sensational and out of context
Clone, thank you so much. Clone Sister, thank you for the 5 gift subs.
tweets to poach their audience for max visibility and signal to your own tribe that
Holy shit, Denims, you hung out with Gigglypuff? Yeah, the one and only. Oh, yeah. That's right. Be envious. For I got to hang out with the girlies yesterday. But really, who was winning? Me hanging out with a bunch of beautiful women, getting some delicious hot pot, having a wonderful time, staying up to 1 a.m. for the first time in like ages. Like I haven't stayed up till 1 a.m. Sorry, I haven't stayed up, till 1 a.m. in like months because I was having so much fun. Or Ethan Klein, who posted 35 stories in that same time. Did you think about that? I guess I wasn't really winning after all. I could have been posting on Instagram about Hassan, iDubbbz, and Anissa, and Taylor Lorenz.
that you're not this dumbass two-dimensional character that you're sacrificing upon the altar. This communication style spilled over the containment walls of Twitter and affected how we talk to each other in all facets of our life. Movies and television had characters not speaking to each other, but creating caricatures of the archetypes they see online and dunking on them with quips spoken to the audience beyond the fourth wall. Hollywood started to lose touch with the consensus of the American
What's that sex version account? Thank you for the 25 months.
people and exist.
I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna stay up till 12. Yeah, let's go Memorial Day. Yeah, let's fucking go.
In bubbles of wealthy socialites. People started to tap out, finding no commonalities with the people that used to bring them joy through their work. They sought out alternative forms of entertainment. There was a huge boom in online independent content creators. The political horseshoe theory states that as you move further into the extremes of an ideology, the two wings start to take on more similarities than differences. On one side, we have Mao Zedong. Ooh, look at her go. Look at her go. Oh, she wants it. And on the other side, we have Adolf Hitler. The most radical of each party both take on ultranationalism and authoritarian mechanisms of control and come to the ultimate conclusion that
we're just gonna kill them.
Take the topic of abortion, for example. In the center, you have no strong feelings one way or the other. You just don't want to make people upset at dinner parties. If you go down a little bit in the right wing, abortion is a tragedy, but there still needs to be access for certain circumstances, such as rape or incest. If you go down even further, there's no exceptions whatsoever. Every abortion is a murder, and there should be no access. But if you go far enough right, they actually end up becoming...
Reminder about the pinned comment and horseshoe theory. I'm cooking. I'm marinating. Chatter. Chatter's been here since 9 a.m. He clocked in at 9 a.m. He's like, blow Voldemort! Noxanor. Honestly, actually, I'm actually kind of value-tained by the stream. Wait, I'm actually kind of... Hamasabi band, LMAO. He's hexing us. He got sidetracked for a couple hours. He was like, wait, I'm value-tained. Wait. And then he got bored again. He was like, oh, I have to type something in here. No, I get it. Thank you for letting me know. I need to like get some energy in me. I need to drink some energy drinks. Chug 7 monsters.
Becoming pro-choice again, depending on the race of the baby. Similar to the political horseshoe, content exists on a horseshoe of attention. Let's replace the variables to illustrate this phenomenon. We'll replace the desire for change axis with views. And we're going to swap out the left-right political axis with cringe to awe-inspiring. The center, just like in politics,
okay. I think I understand the point that he was making. It's just people don't like... People fucking hate horseshoe theory. Everyone collectively hates horseshoe theory. I think I understand what he was trying to say. He hopped in chat to talk about it. He said, I pinned a comment. Military propaganda is the next video. Researching and setting up interviews currently. Thanks, everybody. Love you, chat. I don't know if he replied to any of these. But he said it was for the setup for another video. But like, I think I understand what he was trying to do. And also, he doesn't say that both sides of horseshoe theory are equally good or bad, right? He claims that there are some things that eventually end up weirdly reaching the same conclusion. Even if they're on like the opposite sides of the political spectrum. Because, I mean, nah, this is bullshit. What are you guys talking about? This is not, huh? I don't take it as an endorsement of the theory. He's dunking on it. Phrase horseshoe theory is like a sleeper agent activation phrase for leftists. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just one of those words that it's one of those terms that people like fucking despise. Think about it. This whole video, this entire video has been him saying, actually, you should be fucking cringe. And instead, who gives a shit if you spend $110 million on a movie that blows? You got to make something you liked. Who cares that it was cringe? Maybe it could be awesome instead. It's not good to sit here in this centrist area where you're so afraid of committing to a position that you just stay in this like loser zone. So he's very obviously an anti-centrist, right? Based off the video, if he's drawing this analogy. Again, it's just like horseshoe theory is something that pisses people off. It just really pisses people off. That said, most interesting use of horseshoe theory. Yeah, I think I agree. But we'll see where he goes with it. Let's see.
Politics is boring. I mean, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just fine. They're mediocre. There's no one you want to send it to. It's just something that you'll see and scroll past. Then we have the awe-inspiring, the content that reminds you what it means to be human.
Sorry, he's like actually just like pulling on my nostalgia strings right now, okay? This is cheating. You can't put the Gary song in anything because it just immediately makes everything way better, you fuckhead.
You're exposed to levels of talent and dedication that show you why these people were put on Earth. They give you hope for the future and passion for the present. Then on the other end of the spectrum, we have the embodiment of cringe.
I want to be the next SNL cast member.
And here's why I should be a contender.
Merry Christmas, y'all. Day 419 of spraying dog medicine on my hands to make them tougher.
Would you like to kick or receive the Bible?
The lolcows, the schizos, the rage bait, the dumbest guy from your high school's Gary V inspired hustlecore podcast, portals into unimaginable hell, despair stranger than fiction. The awesome and the cringe are more similar than they are different. There's a magnetism to them. You can't look away, either because it's like a car accident or it's so beautiful it transcends into angelic. You just have to share it with everyone you know. It's either art or it's some form of performance art by its mere existence. Artists are beginning to get phased out by...
Okay, now that this segment is done. Well, does he come back to it? Just going to sneak peek really quickly. Personally, I think. Personally. What do I know? I'm just a political streamer. Well, personally, I think. There are a couple things that people just get really, like I said, really mad about, really like pissed off about, which I get it. And horseshoe theory is it's like a sleeper agent term that immediately causes a violent surge in most leftists because, well, it's inaccurate. It's a centrist term, or it's a term that centrists like to use to justify their centrism. He very clearly is not a centrist, and he very clearly doesn't believe in centrism, as he puts centrism in the art category as being like the worst, right? That you can never attain the awesome, the awe-inspiring, unless you are willing to risk the cringe. What I would say is he probably should have Listen, this video has been amazing. I don't know that I can make a video like this. I'm just my humble advice. Please don't kill me, please. I'm sorry. I just want a humble advice. I think if the delivery was, okay, horseshoe theory and politics doesn't make any sense and it's literally a shit show, but May I propose horseshoe theory in art and cringe? And then I think everyone would have been like, yeah, woo! I agree. I think then everyone would have been down. I think then everyone, that's just my humble opinion. Please don't target me. I'm sorry. I just wanted to give advice. I'm sorry. Please. It's my opinion. I think he was just describing horseshoe theory as people know it, right? I don't think he was endorsing horseshoe theory in the political sphere.
By content creators. An artist is somebody that makes art, and that word carries certain connotations with it. Art makes you feel something. It has resonance. It starts dialogues, and through people's different interpretations, it can reveal things about yourself and the world around you. Comedy carries the expectation that it'll make somebody laugh when they see it. If it doesn't make you laugh, there'll be arguments over whether it's even classified as a comedy.
I read in chat that someone said, Chatter said, he said in Hassan's chat that he only did the horseshoe theory for normies to bring it back to the point that he was making. Okay, got it. I mean, yeah, I think I understand that perspective. I think I get it. I get what he was trying to do. It's just like, you know what? Listen, man, there's kind of like a rite of passage for all creators on the internet where every creator and non-creators, mind you, also, that are like, I would never fall into this pitfall. I would never get misunderstood by the internet because I would simply just explain it correctly the first time. And then you actually have to do it. And then you always, there's going to be something eventually you fuck up on, you know? And then it's like, no, wait, what the hell? Stop. Like, the child memory clip for me. You know, in terms of like clips that can follow a person, that one's pretty funny. So I'm down. This is what I mean when I say I'm so brain broken. Like, I'm not the right person for people to harass. Because I just like, I see myself say stupid shit. I'm like, this fucking lady. Oh, fucking Christ. You know, and I know what I was saying. I was saying that, like, you know, this is sympathy farming as per usual. You know, obviously memories does not equal trauma. Obviously, we're talking about childhood amnesia, which is real. But, you know, it's going to get misconstrued. There's a lot of bad clips they circulate on the internet. And I think about it and I'm like, you know what, man? There could be a clip of me saying something, which if you watch the full context of it, it makes sense what I say. It's all accurate. Childhood amnesia is real. Trauma does not equal memories. And I say that. I say it doesn't matter even if this, also none of this matters. All of this is moot because I don't endorse CPS. So like, I know what I said. My conscience is clear. You know, people can watch the full clip in its entirety. I'll get vindicated eventually, just as this stuff always happens. But I think about that clip and I'm like, okay, that clip is circulating. Well, what clips circulate for like someone like Ethan Klein? And it's like the Boston bomber clip. And I'm like, you know what? Life is okay. Like, life is fine. Life is pretty good. Okay. And that's how this guy should view it. You get misconstrued on like a horseshoe theory. People don't understand. It's okay. Life moves on. Okay. Life could be worse. Life could be much, much, much worse. Oh God. So anywho. But I heard you did CPS. I really enjoyed the stream. Good shit. Oh, thanks.
Comedy. Is this what passes for comedy nowadays? Pfft, must have forgot to laugh. Is Nanette a comedy?
Think about this. You're stuck in traffic and the lights turn blue.
Yeah, some people think it is. It doesn't have to make everybody laugh. It just has to make somebody laugh.
Yeah, that somebody is me.
If you intended
that I don't think I could ever go to like a comedy show if I wasn't high out of my mind with a friend that was also high out of their mind. And if you're high, anything is funny. I can imagine watching that and being high as shit and being like, dude, what the fuck am I watching? God bless this woman. God damn. Oh man. And you know what also what I will say? Maybe this is too empathy brain. I don't know. All right. I know how hard it is for me to get in front of a stage and have a bunch of eyes looking at me and like there's something that's like a little scary about it, like chat watching you, but there's something even scarier about people in the crowd booing you. Oh my God. And I give respect for anyone that can do that, that can stand on a stage and get booed and power through anyways. Like that is, you know what, man? I don't know that I could. I might just cry and run off the stage. So if you can do it, you know, kudos to you. You can do it, man.
Did for something to be funny and one person laughs, congratulations, you've succeeded at making comedy. You've met the functional definition of the product. If you make a chair, there's the expectation that you'll be able to sit in it. But if you give it to Dave Blunts and he blows the legs out, does it stop being a chair? No, it just wasn't made for him. It would have been the perfect stool for sweet baby Hasbullah. It was just sold to the wrong customer. But if no one on earth can sit on it like it's a flaming baseball bat with nails in it, you can't really call it a chair anymore. Content creators have no expectations. Nobody can say something technically isn't content. In the same way that Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, it was posted, therefore it's content. You could just as easily call it shit. Hey, did you see that latest shit Chrissy Teigen posted? Nah, I'm up to my neck in Johnny Salami shit right now. I don't even know if I'll get to it. Art is entertaining, so people end up treating it like it's interchangeable with entertaining shit.
Netflix pays $100 million to Aaron Sorkin or whoever to make a TV show, right? That distracts you for 2 hours. Right. YouTube pays $0 million to make a podcast that distracts you for 2 hours every day. Netflix cannot compete.
Media's talked about like it's a pacification ray just meant to tranquilize you long enough to make it to the next ad break. Just blasting you with a fire hose of concentrated fluoride meant to sedate you. And this is actually what some people claim they want. A common complaint people have on why they tapped out of movies and television is that everything's too woke nowadays. I don't want to be preached at by a bunch of out-of-touch millionaires and their politics. We need to go back to simpler movies to escape all that crap, like Star Wars, where a group of rebels engage in asymmetrical guerrilla warfare against a technologically superior evil empire, which doesn't have any parallels to anything like America in the 1960s. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't even know how you came to that conclusion. What the fuck do you mean the Ewoks are Vietnamese? No, they're little bears. To get into the woke phenomenon, we need to talk about the most persecuted minority in American history.
Gamers.
The gamer.
Yes! Yes, finally. Yes, the gamers. The gamers are here. Yes.
Now, I don't want to come across as tone deaf. I can say the G word. Hard R. I've reached levels of unemployment not heard of since the stock market crash of 29.
Dude, I like how Paladins is so shit that they removed the splash art for characters because they stopped getting new splash art. So it just shows the character 3D, like the model of the character now. They literally removed the splash because they're like, we're not introducing new splash art. It's like, this game is a real piece of shit, man. Oh my God, Hi-Res, this is some garbage. Anyways, come on, cue us up. All right, come on. You played Paladins? I mean, I don't remember the last time. Let me open Steam. See when the last time I played Paladins is. It says November. November was the last time I installed it and played it. I have 69 hours. 69. Nice. Didn't they kill it? It's been dead from the day that it got launched, okay? It's not a good game. It's not a good game. It's never been a good game, and that's why I love it.
While you were out partying, I studied the blade. While you were engaging in premarital sex, I practiced the blade. While you wasted your days in the gym in pursuit of vanity, I mastered the blade.
Don't, dude, you can't make those fucking jokes. The shock value on that fucking took me out.
Our people were brought into the sphere of public discourse in 2014 with Gamergate. Gamergate was a sprawling clash between Sargon of Akkad, Anita Sarkeesian, and Baron Horkonen. Wait, not the last guy. Everyone sounds like a villain from Doom for some reason. The gist of
Yeah, Anita Sarkeesian is such a cool fucking name, dude.
Gamergate was a female journalist critiqued the video game industry for objectifying women and only having them as one-dimensional characters with big jiggly titties meant to serve the male gaze. Responses to this ranged from "that's gay" to "that is super gay." For the Chronically Online that were on the pulse of this controversy, some people agreed with her critique of the industry, some people disagreed, and a few people messaged her, "If you try to take away my big jiggly titties, I swear to God I will burn your house to the ground."
You know, normal. They did more than that, to be clear. I assume he just doesn't want to bring the mood of the video down, but they did more than that, just to be clear. Let me just say, recently there's been this fucking I actually like tourists. I hate gaming tourists that think that they can tell other people how the games should be. That say, woke? And it's like, you're not even fucking... Calm down. Just calm down. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Gonna chillax for a second. Most recently, what comes to mind is this. People have been like, remember when Overwatch had to remove a pose from the game because it had too much ass in it? It's like, and now they're going all in because they see how much money Marvel is making. It's like, I hate you. I hate everything about you. I hate your lack of understanding of art. I hate your media literacy. I hate you as a person, fundamentally. The issue with Tracer's pose was always that it was Tracer doing the pose. That was always the problem. It wasn't that it was in the game. The problem was that it was the character doing the pose. There's a great breakdown that I've shown on this stream a handful of times. And this guy does such a great job explaining why. I think he's either like he's an artist. I forget that if he does like character design or if he does animation or maybe a mix of a few things. But he breaks down over the course of like 10, 15 minutes why Tracer's pose was eventually removed. And he explains that it didn't fit her character, and that's why people were upset about it. Because Tracer's character is very fun, very enthusiastic, very naive. Like, that's her character. It didn't really make a lot of sense to have that pose. And when they replaced the pose, it was still a good pose. It's not like they made her ugly or some shit. They just changed her pose to match her character. Her original pose wasn't very fun and exciting. Oh, here it is. It's this video. Maybe I can like skip ahead.
Notice it's not the same pose, but it... What do we know about her from what Blizzard has shown us so far? Well, we know that she's quick. We know that she's friendly. We know she's heroic.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
And she seems to genuinely care about what she does and who she does it for. But we also know that she's goofy. She couldn't put on a straight face if she had to. Now, the context for all the poses we're about to
forgot she's British!
Discuss is victory. These are the poses that your team of characters stand in when you win the game. So the goal of these poses, from an animation standpoint, should generally be to show how the character reacts to success. Maybe they're celebratory. Maybe they just stand all cool and heroic somehow. Whatever they're doing, given this game's aesthetic, they should at least strike a pose that looks right out of an illustration for a poster or something. So without further ado, here is the original Tracer pose, which Blizzard eventually opted to replace. Now I should say up front, this is not a terrible pose. I mean, it's not incredible, but let's go down the checklist. It's instantly readable, strong silhouette, good sense of physicality and weight distribution, and it's also pretty visually interesting. Lots of asymmetry in the limbs, a decent enough line of action. It's definitely not the best Tracer pose on offer, but it's certainly more interesting than this stupid pose. But then there's the big question. What does this pose communicate? What's the character doing? What does it convey about who they are? That's where this pose falls pretty flat, and it's where the complaints raised about it are dead on. I mean, her stance does maintain some of that lighthearted yet casual Tracer energy, but not nearly as much as some of these others do. This particular pose says nothing more than I'm posing for the camera, and that would be fine. Like I said, these are hero victory poses. Most everybody looks like they're posing for the camera. And it's not like every pose has to function as a character biography, but above all, they do still need to stay true to character, no matter what they're doing. And, well, alright, I've talked around it long enough. Everything about this pose is drawing attention to her butt. Like, all of it. The line of action down the spine, the straightened legs, the angles of the arms, her eye line, everything about the composition of this pose draws attention right here. The only reason to stand in that particular way is to say, hey, check out my butt. I've seen some people try to argue that other
I saw her personality first. Get your mind out of
Watch
the
characters are doing the same pose, as if everybody's complaints about this Tracer example are arbitrary and ridiculous. And what? No. Look, yes, these poses have a character rotated away from us and looking over their shoulder, but the posture and stance of these poses have very little in common with the Tracer pose. The lines of action are different, and neither of these is built to draw attention to the character's butts, or to sexualize them in any way, really. Honestly, if anything, they're just kind of boring poses. This is the only Overwatch character who has a pose that's even in the same ballpark in terms of posture, and it's still not the same pose. Look at the line of action. Look at the angle of the torso. Nothing about the composition of this pose draws the eye to Hanzo's backside. Quite the opposite. Our eyes are pulled up toward his face and his shoulder. Now, there is one other Overwatch character who does have an over-the-shoulder pose that draws attention to her features in a more sexualized way, and it's this one. Notice it's not the same pose, but it does draw attention to her physique in a sexualized way. In fact, a lot of her costuming and animation do.
Hey, what about Winston?
And yet, Widowmaker's presentation hasn't caused nearly so much a stir. The fan who brought up Tracer's posing expressed no problem with Widowmaker's portrayal, and Widowmaker's animation hasn't been changed at all, while that Tracer pose has. Why? Well, Widowmaker's character is clearly a spin on the femme fatale archetype, the attractive or seductive character who uses sexuality to draw you in before wrecking your day. And we can argue over whether or not that's still merely a justification to objectify a character, but let's at least agree that sexuality is a somewhat key component of this character.
Honestly, average France experience.
As she's presented.
You you're like, the food is supposed to be so good, and then you just get like 7,000 bed bugs eat you.
That's why Widowmaker striking this pose works, and it's why Tracer striking this one doesn't. One of these poses stays true to the character, and the other one feels like it compromises the character for the sake of pandering, because it doesn't align with the Tracer we've been shown thus far. And clearly, the Overwatch team ultimately felt the same way. So, with all of that said, let's have a look at the pose Blizzard chose to replace the old one with. Alright, let's just go at this with the same criteria.
Which I think, much better pose. It's just so much more fun. It fits the character. She's a lighthearted, fun little character. She's not like this like sex appeal character, right? So it fits. It fits the character. It's good. And it's not like they've reduced her ass. It's not like they made her ass concave. You know, she still has her ass. It just has whimsy in it. Yeah, exactly. So I saw people being like, remember when they removed the pose and now they're showing Widowmaker's ass because Marvel's making money. It's like, you should never post again ever because you are so irritating to everyone. You refuse to even spend 5 seconds looking into the fact that the pose that was removed was for a different character because it didn't match the character. Widowmaker doesn't have any whimsy. She doesn't have any whimsy in her. It makes sense that they would give this skin to her in the way that they gave it to her, right? Also, they've always shown Widow ass. Exactly. That's my point. They also still gave her some covering on it as well. So, like, moving on. That's an issue I have that I always have to litigate because I, as an ex-Overwatch player, nobody plays that shit old game anymore. Sorry to the 4 Overwatch players in chat. As someone who spent way too many hours.
Too, but you can only see during an emote. Don't ask me how I know.
As someone who had multiple accounts and like thousands of hours on each account, trust me, I was very invested. And I got really mad. I hate gaming tourists. I fucking hate them with a passion. Back to the video.
Dialogue then shifted from the video games being misogynistic to the gamers themselves. A concerted
Oh, sorry.
effort-
I remember why I was on that. Anita Sarkeesian, over-sexualization of women. The problem in media and the problem in video games has never been that there are some women that are overly sexualized. No one has ever had a problem with Widowmaker, right? People's only problem with Widowmaker is that one time where, like, in her animation, does anyone remember this? I think it was in the play of the game animation. She would, like, put down her, like, lenses and then her ass would expand. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? That was the one thing that they were like, widow ass bigger animation. Please. No porn on YouTube, right? Maker. Is it not this one? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to like find. I'm not going to be able to find it. Safe search it's too fucked. There's too much porn, dude. There's too much Overwatch porn for me to find this. She had this like bug, I guess, in one of her animations where, wait, is this it? Bravest denim search in history. This one. Yeah. In game, her ass would get bigger when she ulted. What was this? What was this? What was this? Who did this? Who did this? Meerkat. Anyways, happens to the best of us. Yeah, true. Oh, God. Moving on from all of that. People wanted to criticize video games and they wanted to criticize the perception or like the portrayal of women because they wanted women to be portrayed the same way that men were portrayed, right? Like you get to have sexy dude characters and then you get to have reserved male characters. Why can't we have the same thing with the female characters? Why do they always have to be the same fucking cookie cutter garbage? Like, why can't we have these like sex appeal characters like Widowmaker and then also have these like not so sex appeal characters like Tracer? Like, isn't more variety fun? Isn't it more fun to have more variety instead of having the same character trope over and over and over and over and over again? Like, Tracer not sex appeal? Well, sorry. The porn industry would disagree, but you get my point. Like, she doesn't explicitly exude sex in the way that, like, Widowmaker does. Yeah, for fan service, we have, like, you know, Widowmaker. We have, you know, Roadhog. We have a couple others. All right, moving on.
It was made by the gaming journalist community to write a slew of articles about how the gamer was dead. We were a proud and noble people. We lived in harmony. The noob, the camper, the kid that would freestyle rap on Call of Duty party chats. Until one day, the white woman attacked. This was the jumping off point for YouTube's right-wing radicalization pipeline. Creators such as Sargon of Akkad, Gavin McGinnis, and Milo Snuffleupagus gained notoriety during this time. When young men felt under attack by the culture, these YouTube personalities became a bulwark against the criticism and engaged in their own asymmetric warfare against the corporate media entities. The lines in the sand had been drawn for the culture war that was going to take place over the next decade. reason to exist. Waluigi's identity only comes from what and who he isn't. Without a wider frame of reference, he is nothing. He is not his own man. In a world where our identities are shaped by our warped relationships to brands and commerce, we are all Waluigi.
Metronome hitting the backbeat. It's like syncopation or something, right? Asyncopation? I don't know. I don't remember shit from music class.
To apply the postmodern analysis of Waluigi to our American entertainment system, we can start with the 1984 movie Ghostbusters. Set in the Reagan...
Chatter, what does... I want to ask you, what does this mean? But also, I understand perfectly what this means. Waluigi's identity is the same as white people. I don't understand, and yet somehow I perfectly understand.
Era, it was an embodiment of the culture at the time. A ragtag boys club of blue-collar men kicking ass and saving the day. Going up against the nerds and the dickless Environmental Protection Agency. We'll use them as our Mario. Traditional masculinity, saving the damsel in distress, and slinging dick jokes. Then came the 2016 reboot, Lady Ghostbusters. Wait, it's just called Ghostbusters? I've literally only ever heard it referred to as Lady Ghostbusters. It's too late to change now. Lady Ghostbusters is our Luigi. Essentially the same skeleton as the original, but with a role reversal. In the Obama years, it was less a reflection of our culture than an attempt at a course correction to it. It didn't seem to have a problem with bosses sexually harassing their secretaries, but it posed the question, why can't a girl boss sexually harass her male secretaries? Chris Hemsworth played the himbo hunk with a room temperature IQ that the Lady Ghostbusters salivated over.
Now's your moment. Pull it out. Oh, sure. I feel like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
The movie was released in the summer of 2016, when all of Hollywood thought Hillary Clinton would be a lock for the presidency. The film suffered a similar humiliation to Clinton, being negatively panned by audiences and was a box office flop. The response by the creators was to blame the audience for the poor reception. They called the fan base racist, sexist, all the ists you can think of. I saw someone say the movie failed because of misogynoir, which is a new word for hating black women, I guess. They really need to workshop that one, because it sounds too sexy right now. It's like a cologne that
It does sound too sexy.
Johnny Depp would sell.
Leslie Jones is a dumb bitch. Misogynoir. By Dior.
The backlash then fueled the creation of the monstrosity Waluigi, the inverse to Lady Ghostbusters, Lady Ballers. The reactionary swinging of the pendulum.
Oh, no, not Lady Ballers, dude. I think that was the one time where I was like, I couldn't finish that. We started watching that on stream and I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this. This is too bad. I refuse.
Whereas the toxic masculinity of the 80s was subconscious and not altogether harmless, wasn't deliberately malicious, the new wave has gone septic. Their thesis statement is nothing besides we are not Lady Ghostbusters.
Boys are better at everything. They're better at basketball, MMA.
That goes without saying.
And running, and javelin, driving, parking, most of the STEM fields, rock and roll, opening pickle jars.
They don't know what they are, only what they're not. Anti-woke, anti-DEI, anti-establishment. The Daily Wire, PragerU, and...
Wasn't there a female archer that beat, like, the male archers and then they made it not co-ed anymore after that?
Right-wing media companies.
Don't, like, girls frequently outperform boys in public school and also get more degrees or whatever? But again, publicly outperform, and then, like, those same, like, Daily Wire freaks will be like, this is because schools are not meant for boys. Little boys just struggle when they have to sit inside a classroom. They can't help it. They're just different and they need more love and attention from mommy. It's like,
said they're going to be bringing back real comedy.
It's like comedy sucks. It's like nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like legalized comedy.
Legalized comedy. The way they talk. How is he real? How is he real? Did you guys see him making fun of what the fuck is the guy's name? Bill Gates for looking empreg when he looks the way he does? Dude, what is with Twitter recently? Twitter just like doesn't even show me tweets anymore. What the fuck is wrong with this website? Hold on, what's up? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Chat, are you hiding it? Here we are. He tweeted this out. In case you need to lose a boner fast. And it's a picture of Bill Gates. And then it's the mpreg emoji. And then he reposted it on May 20th. He's like, this one was so funny. I'm going to post it again. And it's like, we have photos of you. We know what you look like. This isn't Jeff Bezos posting it. This isn't Mark Zuckerberg posting it. Your homie, dude. Your homie. Donald Trump said you took the fat shot. And he said, it's not working. And it's not working, Mr. Elon. I mean, my good friend. It's not working. You took the fat shot and we can tell it's not working. Legalized comedy.
Yeah, brother, this guy stinks!
Return to the heyday of the feel-good, apolitical, sophomore comedies of Will Ferrell and Adam Sandler.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup. Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
The movie Lady Ballers, directed by Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D.
I swear to God, that's his real name, was marketed as a comedy that harkens back to the 90s and early 2000s. These people have no idea how to accomplish that task. It's as if the art of making a lighthearted comedy is a lost technology, like how the Egyptians built the pyramids. They are so off the mark of making something like Step Brothers or The Hangover, they must be sitting in the editing bay coming up with conspiracies on how Adam McKay was helped by extraterrestrials. The movie is just as pedagogic or preachy as any of the woke movies that they spent their careers rallying against.
Of course your divorce is affecting your daughter. 70% of all people in prison come from broken families. She's twice as likely to do drugs, twice as likely to drop out of school, 4 times as likely to have trouble fitting in, 3 times as likely to end up in therapy, twice as likely to commit suicide.
It's condescending, spiteful, putting political messaging over any sort of story or character development.
These transhumanist tech oligarchs and nihilist college professors have already convinced every self-righteous housewife with Munchausen by proxy to sacrifice their kids on the altar of false virtue.
You cannot do a funny impression of somebody that you hate with all of your being.
You just did that entire story to what?
To make a name for myself? To get clicks? To gain power? What part of I'm a journalist do you not understand? I'll cancel you.
The characters in Lady Ballers
Dies of cringe. Dies of cringe. I'll cancel you. Chat, like I said, that's the only movie that I refuse. Like, I can't finish it. And I don't want to finish it. There's no part of me. I don't know that I could. I think if I tried to, my organs would start failing. I don't know how it ends, and I never want to know.
Despise each other to the level of your parents arguing with each other at the Cheesecake Factory the night before their divorce. You never listen to me.
You never listen to me.
Oh, is that what I sound like? Oh, well, who am I? Dear, I lost our kids' college money sending Amazon gift cards to an Indian man pretending to be my girlfriend. Dear, I'm retarded. Like, yeah, I mean, those are impressions, but I don't think that their child sitting on the other side of the table is going to find it very funny. Here's what the funniest comedian of all time said about making jokes about groups of people. You need to tell a black joke like you're talking to your black friends. You got to tell jokes about women like you're talking to your sisters. You got to tell jokes about white people like you're talking to your white friend. This movie wasn't made to be enjoyed by women or Democrats or gay people. It was made as a spite project to pander to an in-group. And my problem with it isn't that it's conservative, it's because it sucks ass. There's plenty of great movies that are made by conservatives and are conservative in nature. Clint Eastwood's Gran Torino, Mel Gibson.
Sorry, some chatters are here. Hello, chatters. Are you the female Hassan version? Wait, based profile picture? No, I'm actually good at video games. Okay. Next question. So you think with everything Hassan has said and done in the past, he doesn't deserve this ban? You don't even know that. Like, you don't know that. You haven't even asked me my opinion. You just said a sentence and assumed that it was correct. Like, I know that grass is red. And it always has been and it always will be. And there is no other color for grass. You think this for sure. You just made that up, chatter. I know I'm late to ask this question, but you're in the Hassan Protects Me Club. So I wanted your opinion. And if he gets permanently banned, do you think he'll change your content or double down and maintain course? I'm just asking for my dog. Okay, 1, way too parasocial. I'm going to be real with you, fam. Bring it back a notch. Bring it back. All right, 2. Sorry, your dog. Your dog is way too parasocial. Your dog is way... Tell your dog, you out of control. You out of control, big dog. You gotta calm down. Next. I never said that. You made this up. I said I literally didn't read the manifesto because I know it's against Twitch terms of service, even when you're denouncing it. I got banned for the same thing. I got a ban years ago for reading a manifesto, and the ban, the message from the message from Twitch literally said you are not allowed to read a manifesto and denounce it the entire time. And I was like, I guess. And so chat was coming in here the day before yesterday, and they were like, you should read the manifesto, you should read it, you should read it. And I was like, guys, I can't read it. I can't read it. They're gonna ban my ass. They got me for 30 days for Sabra hummus, dude. I can't do that. And so I didn't. And then he got banned. Because Denims. All right. So I already said, I mean, if it's against terms of service, you shouldn't do things that are against terms of service. If you do things that are against the Twitch TOS, you're on their platform. You should try to follow the rules if you can on their platform if you don't want to get banned. You sign up for those terms. You try your best to follow those terms, right? I think that's a reasonable expectation. And if you feel like the terms are too limiting, then you can go ahead and try and make a stand and demand Twitch make changes at that point, right? Now, I said it already. I didn't do it because I knew it was a bannable offense. Maybe he didn't know that it was a bannable offense because he's read other manifestos and hasn't gotten banned. And so I think that like he did break the rules.
Surprised it took so long for that ban to happen. Even Bremlo and Mike were saying they couldn't show the manifesto the same morning.
Yeah. What TOS did he break? You're like literally, I need to go and find it in my email, but I got the same letter he did years ago. This? I got this same letter years ago when I read a manifesto on stream and covered it and denounced it. But I got this letter too, where it says, reason, improper handling of terrorist propaganda, sharing content related to or to examples of violative conduct include but are not limited to showing a violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. That is a bannable offense. Showing it while denouncing it is a bannable offense. Which, again, I got banned for this years ago, and I was like, I'm not falling for this again. I'm not going to get banned for it twice. Fool me once, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I mean, I think he deserves the ban for consistency. Now, if people, I think, fight Twitch and say, I feel like we should change this policy going forward, I think that that's a reasonable thing, right? You can demand changes from your platform that you think are better or worse. Look at gambling on Twitch, right? It was not against Twitch TOS to do basically any gambling. And public outcry and the audience of Twitch said no, and streamers on Twitch said, no, we think you should be able, there should be restrictions on gambling on streams. Right? So you can demand changes from the platform. And in my experience, Dan Clancy leadership has been the most seemingly willing to talk to streamers, which is cool. How are you supposed to cover the news that way? Again, like this was another big change. Like, I get it. Dan Clancy's done, he's not perfect. I mean, he got us banned for 30 days, whatever. I'm not going to get into it too deep. Not perfect, but like one big example of a change that Dan made to this platform. For the longest time, you couldn't cover things from banned streamers, or you might have gotten banned. So if like a streamer was banned, Bad Empanada, you couldn't watch a Bad Empanada video. If Destiny was banned, you couldn't watch a Sex Destiny video. You couldn't do it. Now, the current policy is, okay, you can watch those videos as long as you aren't directly just like platforming and just playing the video and you're reacting to it and responding to it, and it's like within the news cycle, then it's fine. You're not going to get banned randomly for that. You're still not allowed to bring them on your stream and have them just talk. That's still not allowed. And obviously, as with everything else, anything you show might get you banned. You have to be responsible for what you show on your stream. So like that was one thing that like Dan Clancy was a big part of making that change, making it possible to watch content without being worried about getting fucking banned because you're reacting to something crazy somebody else said who happens to be banned, which again was it's a good policy. That was a good policy change. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change in this policy as well with enough, outcry. If enough people feel like this change is deserved, right? So yeah. Why wasn't Hassan banned for all the other manifestos he read? I mean, why are green card holders being deported for speech that goes against U.S. foreign policy? We have to keep bombing Gazans, dude. You don't get it. We haven't spilled enough Gazan blood. Once we get to that number, then we can be happy, okay? Another, I don't know, 2 million children. Anywho, that's it. Just wanted to clarify those things, respond to that stuff. This chatter wrote something and left, so I'm not going to respond to that. And I think we caught up. All right, moving on.
Gibson's Apocalypto, the first Incredibles, arguably, or any of the Vince Vaughn movies from...
Why are you agreeing with him getting banned, huh? No, I'm saying I get why Twitch banned him. It makes sense why they banned him. Do you think I want him banned? Do you think I'm like, yeah, woo? Like, no, what the hell? It's in the rules. He violated the rules. The problem is, again, Twitch is just not consistent with their rules. If they were actually consistent with their rules, he would have gotten banned on the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last manifesto or the last one, right? Technically, all of those were against terms of service, but he only got banned for this one. They were all technically ban-worthy offenses according to the rules. Also, we're not going to get a good change to that ruling, and we're not going to get a good, like, adjustment. It's kind of like the gay cake, gay wedding thing. You have to find a bakery that eventually says, no, I won't make you that cake. So you can actually take them to the courts or to the court system. So you can eventually take them to the Supreme Court so you can fight for people's rights. It's sort of the similar, this is gay cake. Hassan is gay cake, if you think about it that way. Or like you can't, it's harder to demand change from the platform unless you see what needs to be changed. So I think like within the context of what happened, it makes sense that he got banned. And I don't think we can really get changes to that policy unless we get a ban off that and Twitch reestablishes the policy in a different way and says like, okay, fine. If you're covering something, as long as you're covering it because it is relevant. You're not allowed to randomly bring up manifestos that are older. You can only bring them up if they are currently trending right now because something just happened. And you're not allowed to read any portions that actively call for violence. Then, okay, I think that would be a good change. I think that's a better policy than this. I think this current policy is stupid. All right.
From the early 2000s. The difference was they used to have a humanity to them. Vince Vaughn would be the sarcastic, everyman protagonist trading blows with the beta male liberal.
Okay.
But at the end, there was some sort of commonality where they're like, all right, you're an annoying pussy, but I'm kind of a stupid asshole. Can we just get along and get through this wedding? The modern anti-woke content gives no quarter. There's no olive branches. There's no attempt at understanding. It exists as a power fantasy where the main character is an audience stand-in that's always right, just destroying their political opponents, knocking over straw men with the lack of nuance fueled by the Twitter-poisoned mind. You might be inclined to write off the Daily Wire as propaganda, but that's not the correct term. Propaganda is a form of communication used to influence or persuade an audience to further a political agenda. Their content isn't made to lure a politically neutral audience into their ideology. The origin of these channels are SJW owned, libtard destroyed content where a grown man with a research team and printed out statistics corners teenagers on their way to a Comp 1 class to try to make them look like dumbasses. These aren't designed for liberals to come around and see things their way. They're made as a catharsis for people that already hate liberals. And I get it, they're annoying. Propaganda is supposed to separate you from your way of thinking. A grifter's job is separating a market demographic from their money. Selling anti-woke coffee and razor blades.
If you've had enough of the woke bullshit and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you,
because they see people's alienation and frustration with the system as an opportunity for them to line their own pockets. It's an insult to the audience's intelligence that they make content that doesn't challenge their worldview or perspective. They say, we already know what you think and feel, and we want you to stay right there, because that's how we know how to sell to you. So is that it? Everything is shit? Hollywood is shit? The mindless brain rot is shit? The political grifters are shit?
With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes.
Is everything good in the past? Of course not. There's still great art being made every day. It's just going to be harder to find now. The algorithms are designed so the content that rises to the top is often mindless clickbait, engagement farming, or people exploiting your anger and disenfranchisement. Great art is still being created, probably now more than ever, but you're going to have to pan for it like gold. If you find anything worth your time, hang on to it for dear life. Share it with your friends. Go support local bands in your city. Become a small-time patron of the arts. In a world where attention is a commodity, the only democratic control we have is not to look. You have to be like Lot's wife fleeing Sodom and Gomorrah, and if she dared look back, she'd be turned into a pillar of salt. If you're pulling your hair out and asking, why is this popular? Are people stupid? Yeah, duh. And you're even dumber than them, because you're not even enjoying the time that you wasted. It's like eating a whole plate of Twinkies and going, ugh, I hate Twinkies. Disgusting slop made to demoralize us. The West is dead. Yeah, man, no one told you to eat the Twinkies. They were just on the shelf. You have the choice. Give everything a chance, but once you know you don't like it, just disengage. If somebody says, hey, did you see that Ian Miles Chong tweet? Go, sorry, brother. Only tweets I hear are the birds on my back porch. Become fully grill-pilled. I'm almost 30 years old. I shouldn't have an opinion on Mr. Beast. Does the Fresh and Fit podcast suck? Or am I just not a Cuban man in the Miami dating scene? Does the Daily Wire suck? Or am I just not the most divorced man at my local cigar lounge? I like 90s anime and ska punk. It's not like if I sat down with those guys, I would convince them that Neon Genesis is the pinnacle of art. The Fresh and Fit fan would be like, hey, B, I'm gonna keep it real with you. This shit mad gay and retarded. This Shinji shit, he just like a little bitch, you know, freaky ass jerking his little dick in Asuka's hospital room. That shit nasty for real. Daily Wire fan is like, this Shinji Ikari needs to pull himself up by his bootstraps. I mean, his father owns the company and he's still dropping the ball. It's called responsibility, pal. Get your ass into gear. It's not for them, the same way their shows aren't for me. I used to be the main target demographic for most of the content that was being produced. Now I'm just a smaller piece of that pie chart, but it's still being made. The Banshees of Inisherin came out a few years ago without any fanfare, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Black Country New Road is one of the best rock bands in the era where everyone was saying that rock is dead. I'm finding new artists and musicians that inspire me every other week. And if you don't see anybody making things for people like you, make it yourself.